All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to talk about something that sits right at the intersection of, well, spirituality, psychology, and even your own family history. It's a concept called pitraloka. Think of it as an unseen inheritance that might just be shaping your life in ways you've never, ever considered.
So, check out this quote. It's from the ancient Upanishads. It reads like a riddle, right? From smoke to night to the world of the fathers. But this isn't just, some beautiful mystical poetry. It's actually a kind of map, a map that lays out the soul's journey after we die. Because, see, according to Sanatan Dharma, what happens after we die isn't a one-size-fits-all deal. Not every soul travels the same road. Actually, this ancient wisdom lays out two very, very different paths. So you've got these two paths. On one side, there's the Dvayana. That's the path of right, and it leads to total liberation, or moksha. But then, there's the other path, the Pitrayana. This is the path of return, and this is the one we're going to focus on today, because it leads to that place we mentioned, Pitrayalika.
Okay, so what is this place, really? Pitraloka. You'll often hear it translated as the world of the fathers or the realm of the ancestors. But honestly, that's just scorching the surface. It's way more nuanced than that. Let's really dig in and define it. Now, the first thing you have to get straight is this. Pitraloka is not heaven or hell. It's not a final destination for reward or punishment. Think of it more like an intermediate realm, a subtle space that's totally connected to your lineage, your family line, to memory, and this whole idea of continuity.
And here's a beautiful way to think about it. The texts describe it as lunar in nature. What does that mean? Well, think about the moon. It doesn't have its own light, right? It just reflects the light of the sun. Pitraloka is kind of like that. It doesn't create any new destiny or karma. It just reflects what's already there. It reflects all the unresolved stuff, the unfinished business from a family line.
And this is a really crucial point. This realm is overseen by the deity Yama. But he's not some scary judge handing out punishments. Not at all. A better way to see him is as a keeper of cosmic order, like a cosmic accountant. This place is all about balancing the books. Just tallying up what was left undone.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting, because this isn't just some abstract idea about the afterlife. Nope. This has huge implications for the life you're living right now. It's telling us that what we inherit from our family, it's so much more than just our genes.
You see, in this way of thinking, a human life is never seen as some isolated event that just starts from scratch. Instead, each and every one of us is part of this long, continuous stream. You're not the beginning of the story. You're the current chapter in a really, really long book.
I mean, we all know we inherit blood and genetics. That's the obvious stuff, right? Eye color, hair color. But this wisdom says we inherit all the subtle stuff too. The habits, the fears, maybe that strange anxiety your grandmother had but never talked about, or the impulses your great-grandfather struggled with, even their unfulfilled desires and the stories the family never told. And you know what? There's a name for all this. Thousands of years before modern science even had the words for it, Sanatan Dharma called it Pitri karma. That's what it is, this unseen inheritance. It's the collective karma, the baggage, the momentum of all those habits, fears, and unlived lives that just gets passed down the line.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds pretty mystical, right? Purely spiritual. But here's the kicker. This is where it gets absolutely fascinating. Modern science is actually starting to describe this exact same idea. They're just using a different set of words. It's just this incredible moment where ancient wisdom and modern science are echoing each other across thousands of years. We're literally seeing modern research giving us a scientific language for what these ancient seers were talking about all along, this idea that the past is literally living inside of us. Just look at the parallels here. It's amazing. Sanatan Dharma called it Pitri karma. Today, the field of epigenetics talks about how trauma can actually change the way our genes are expressed, and that gets passed down. Psychology has a term for it, intergenerational trauma. Even the famous psychoanalyst Carl Jung talked about the burden of the unlived life of our ancestors. They're all different words for the exact same thing. So, the big question is, if we're all carrying this invisible baggage, are we just trapped? Are we doomed to repeat the past? And the answer is a resounding no, absolutely not. And this is where this whole philosophy becomes so incredibly empowering, because it shows us there's a way out. There's a way to break the chain. Just think about it for a second.
What happens to all that unresolved pain in a family? The secrets that get buried, the grief that's never processed, those patterns of anger or anxiety that just keep repeating generation after generation because no one ever deals with them? Well, the answer is pretty simple and it's kind of stark. It doesn't just disappear. It has to go somewhere. So it repeats. It just keeps repeating, showing up in the lives of the kids and their kids until someone, somewhere down the line, is finally brave enough to turn around and face it. But here's the most powerful part of this whole idea. It doesn't say you're a victim. It says you are the point. You are the place in that long, long chain where awareness can finally break through. You're not just a recipient of the past. You can be the one who changes the future. So how do you do it? Well, it's a three-step process, really. First, you have to become conscious. You have to learn to recognize these inherited patterns in your own life. Step 2, once you see the pattern, you can start to weaken it by actively choosing to respond differently. And step 3, you make a conscious choice to heal what you've inherited, to refuse to pass that pain forward. And when you think about it like that, it completely changes how we see our own inner work, doesn't it? It's not just for us anymore. It becomes this profound responsibility and this incredible gift, a gift to our ancestors and a gift to the generations that are still to come. It's like this quote says, "You're not just living your life, you're standing inside a long memory." Just let that sink in. Your life is part of this huge living memory stretching back through time. And right now, you're the one holding it. So really, understanding a concept like Pitraloka isn't about being afraid of the past or some kind of karmic debt. That's not the point at all. The point is to empower you to take responsibility for the future. It's a call to action. And this, right here, is the most beautiful takeaway of all. Whenever you manage to resolve within yourself, it doesn't end with you. It becomes a blessing. It becomes a new kind of inheritance, an inheritance of awareness, of freedom, that you pass on to everyone who comes after you. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Now that you know all this, can you feel it? Can you feel the weight of what you're carrying? And more importantly, do you have the courage to transform it instead of just passing it on?